I'm going to show you guys in this video the fastest and the best way of removing curb damage. So the thing you'll need first is some 120 grit sandpaper. The sandpaper needs to be attached to a backing plate. If the sandpaper discs or sheets don't match the size of the backing plate, then trim round with scissors or a blade. Next we need a rotary polisher, sander or buffing machine. Most of these machines come with a backing plate. Most of the time the backing plate is an M14 fitment. Choosing a speed that you are comfortable with, proceed to grind down the damage. The 120 disc makes light work of even the harshest curb damage. As you can see, it's reprofiling and rounding off the damaged alloy surface. Make regular checks of your progress. Angle the machine to get in the tight spaces. Be careful not to damage the tyre wall. Paintgear.co.uk supply all specially made kits for this exact process, which include all the discs for each grade, scotch pads, sandpaper and also the backing pad. The quantities in the kit are the recommended amount to repair 4 alloys. Alternatively, you can find links in the description below of suppliers for the materials and tools used in this video. Once the wheel edge has been reprofiled with 120, it's time to work up the grades and now start with 180 to start refining. This is the first stage to smooth out the edges created by the 120 grit. Using the exact same process as before with the 180 grit, it is now time to use the 320 discs. With each higher grit used, bring the repair edge in further each time, feathering out the damage removal. The final stage of damage removal with the sanding disc is 400 grit sandpaper. Used discs can be used for hand sanding and also refining any areas that were hard to reach with the buffer. Hand sand in exactly the same way as you did with the machine, working up the grades all the way up to 400. Fine sanding, refining and finishing prep work should be done with wet and dry paper. In this case, I will be using water along with 600 grit wet and dry and also 1000 wet and dry. Both of these grades are included in the paint gear kit. Using water and the fine grade sandpapers, refine all the areas that we have sanded. It's at this stage that the difference is made between a good job and an excellent job. Here I'm using a grey scotch to key all the surface area of the alloy. It's important that each surface is keyed thoroughly so that the paint applications will stick. Once keyed properly, the area should look dull. Any shiny areas need to be keyed further. The next stage is to mask off all the tyre area, also masking off the tyre valve. Alternatively to masking tape, playing cards can be used and slotted into where the tyre wall meets the alloy. Once the masking is complete, all areas must be panel wiped and degreased. Ensuring all areas are clean is an extremely important stage in the process. Contamination at this stage will affect the overall finish of the repair. Once sanded, refined and wet sanded with fine grained paper and panel wiped, your repair should start to look like this. You can at this stage paint your wheel. However, it is recommended that you use primer to seal in the exposed alloy surfaces and ensure a good even coverage of your paint application process. After thoroughly shaking your primer can, apply the primer across the wheel. The first coat should be a light coat. Leave the primer to dry for approximately 10 minutes, depending on temperature. Apply a second, heavier, more thorough coat to the entire wheel surface. Leave this to dry for a further 10 to 20 minutes depending on temperature and manufacturing instructions of the aerosol. Once fully cured and sanded with 600 grit sandpaper, it's time for your paint application. This can be done in any colour you choose. It can be done in aerosol or with a mini spray gun. The first coat should be a light coat. Apply evenly across the whole wheel. Systematically apply to each inner spoke area and difficult to reach areas such as the nut holes. Make sure you also apply paint to the area between the wheel and the edge of the rim. Often, a big mistake people make is applying too much paint too soon. Leaving the first coat 5 to 10 minutes to dry, it's time to apply the second coat. Apply 2 to 3 evenly spaced out coats. Check regularly that the whole area and all the primer is covered. A nice even silver layer should now have been achieved. Having been left to cure, the 10 to 15 minutes it's time to apply some clear lacquer. Any lacquer can be used, but I recommend using a good 2K lacquer as it's more durable and you'll achieve a much better finish. Alternatively, 2K lacquer can also be purchased in aerosol form. As with applying the base coat, the first layer should be a light coat. The second coat, also known as a wet coat, should be a heavier coat. Ensure all areas included inside the spokes have been covered. Once fully covered, the whole wheel entire surface should look shiny. Here we have the finished results and an excellent repair. Once back on the car, the wheels have been restored to their factory finish. Thank you for watching, and please check my other videos, subscribe to my page and comment below.